Hey, this is Chael Sonnen, and you are listening to the one and only Word on the Street podcast.
Welcome to the Word on the Street podcast. This is a one-off. It's not about UFC or the MMA as you usually expect. My guess is Jody Joe, Jody's Corner on YouTube. Look it up. If you haven't seen the movie Batman vs Superman: Dawn of Justice, or you haven't seen Captain America 3: Civil War,
Run away.
yep. Yeah. Pause that shit. Look it up on YouTube. Jody's Corner, Batman vs. Superman, sucked. Epic movie review rant. Any combination of that will pull it up. You'll know it because the reason I clicked on it is because this person who is the guest, Jody, was wearing a Superman hat, a Superman jacket, and in another video, even the even the damn shoes. I couldn't believe the shoes, man.
My
So,
heart, man. Yeah.
welcome. How you doing, man?
Oh man, it's good to be here. Thanks for having me, Ramses, man. I appreciate it.
You
I'm
got
glad that
it.
I'm here so I can be able to spread the word. I feel like a cult. I got to get this shit off my chest. So I'm glad.
Rant,
Yeah.
rant away, man. What sucked about the movie? Because I thought it was genius, man.
What's something
This is
about the
you.
movie? Uh,
Everybody tries to silence you on other videos. I wonder why, but this is the one where you get to go off, man, explode.
okay. All right. What was wrong with the movie? It's like asking how many times have you took a dump in your life? It's like it's so much that I can come up with, bro. That let me try to start at the beginning. All right, look, this movie. I'm a true to life Superman and DC fan. I There's a difference though between a fan and a fanboy. You know, a lot of people are quick to call people fanboys, but what people don't understand is that I'm a realist. If I'm a fan of a certain product like DC Comics and they bring out a certain superhero like Superman and it is not up to par and it is trash and he is not the embodiment of who he is as a character, I, being a fan and a realist, am going to call them out on their bullshit. A fanboy, on the other hand, will take anything DC gives them and call it gold. Yeah, that was great. Superman wasn't allergic to kryptonite. It's okay. Nah, I'm trying to bring something real to fandom, to people who all across who love the characters. That's exactly why I went and I talked about this movie on my channel because it really pissed me off. It really did. So let me go ahead and talk about this movie.
Go for it.
Batman vs Superman was seen by me and all my friends. It was it was an epic event. I was planning and waiting for this movie for the better part of about 3.5 years since it was released. They started the movie very well. I will give it to them there. I was already skeptical about Zack Snyder being the director. I've seen The Watchmen. I've seen a couple of his other movies. Sucker Punch was trash. Watchmen was good. But they started off well, so I was starting to feel good about that. They showed the beginning, the end scene of Man of Steel. It showed the destruction in Metropolis. It was all great. You see Superman and Zod fighting. I'm like, oh man! And it showed how Bruce Wayne became, how he lost his parents, and they showed the death of his parents again.
You have to.
Yeah, I was okay with it. That was actually one of the better takes of showing the deaths of Bruce Wayne's parents, in my opinion. I really liked it. So that all took place in like the first 10 to 15 minutes. And the first 10 to 15 minutes of the movie is the best part of the movie. Because after 10 to 15 minutes, you might as well stand up, rip your ticket up, and leave the freaking theater. Because what you're going to see after that is an utter mind blowage if you're a fan. I'm talking from a fan's perspective here. The movie, all in all, sucked major donkey balls. And what I mean by suck major donkey balls, I mean this. It spat in the face of everybody who likes those individual characters that showed up. They casted Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor.
If you could describe Jesse Eisenberg in one word that starts with an M, what would it be?
If I
Me,
have to say with
me.
it does it start with an M and end with a A because
No, no, I'm looking for the mediocre.
Oh, no,
I'm a big fan, dude.
okay, you know what? I wouldn't. You know what? There's some. I wouldn't put that word on Jesse Eisenberg because he's not even that. He was worse than that. It's one thing to be mediocre, and it's another thing to be utter trash, to be not even worth to be being in the movie. Jesse Eisenberg was casted, and guess who casted him, bro? Your man Zack Snyder.
Yeah.
Jimmy Olsen was in the beginning of this movie. I didn't even know it. I had to wait 2 to 3 weeks after I seen the movie for a fan or a subscriber of mine to comment on my channel and tell me, "Hey, dude, you know Jimmy Olsen died in the beginning, right?" I said, "What? What? No, Jimmy Olsen. We talk about Jimmy Olsen. What's my subscriber lying to me for? He's lying." Did my research. The cameraman who was with Lois in the desert scene, in the first
Just
scene where
credit.
that was Jimmy Olsen.
And he says it was just like an Easter egg, like just because he doesn't want to waste time.
Bro, are you serious? You cheated on you Easter egg to Jimmy Olsen? How do you Easter egg? Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna Easter egg Alfred. I'm gonna Easter egg Jarvis. No, you don't do that. You give them Jimmy Olsen is like Robin to Batman. You can't do that to him. Come on
Yeah.
now.
Yep.
You have no respect for the source material. You did him like that. That's cold. Second of all, you framed Superman. Lex Luthor framed Superman by putting bullets, using bullets, killing henchmen in the desert. Now, if you're Superman, why would you kill henchmen with bullets? Why would bullets be a reason for Superman to go against the law, break his whole moral code, which is a lack thereof, by the way? Why would he do that? It makes absolutely no sense.
It doesn't make any sense, but it was to just like paint the light in the eyes of the American people that wherever Superman goes, death follows.
You know what they had to do? That's a good point. You know all they had to do to paint that picture way better than trying to frame him?
Yeah.
All they had to do was record Superman taking that henchman through 3 to 4 5 foot thick Egyptian walls.
All right, yes, good point.
That's
But
it. It showed Superman kill that dude. That nigga died. He went through those thick. I'm not talking about a regular East Side apartment condo, 2 inch thick walls where you can hear your grandma next door having sex with Papa. I'm talking about those thick Egyptian walls that got all that stone and mortar behind it, bruh. That's death.
okay, but in defense of Superman, if you have those powers and it's your woman or wife, you're gonna kill that son of a bitch.
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
I'm ripping his head off. You better believe it. But this is
Yeah.
Superman. This is Superman, though. That's the problem. Superman does not. He's supposed to be an unwavering, stern for justice and peace in the right way character. He does not have the moral code of me. Otherwise, he would be over there snatching up Beyonce's and Taylor Swift's and having his way with them. I mean, that's just in a world where I'm Superman, I would do all kind of dumb, illegal shit. But Superman, that's what makes him special.
Yeah, you're thinking of the traditional Superman. Like
What other Superman is there? That's the one we
what he should be. But Zack Snyder,
exactly.
like yeah, I agree on some points that he's mediocre.
He
But
is truly mediocre.
you know what's
Highest
weird?
level.
Yeah, like just breaking news for those who haven't heard. Um he's actually not writing the first Justice League movie, which they started shooting either today or tomorrow. Gail Gadot, whatever, just wrapped shooting on Wonder Woman today.
Okay. Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Good.
and the first Justice League movie, uh, if anybody hasn't heard, Ben Affleck is now the executive producer. Like they made him that shit. Like
So, all right.
yeah,
Now, I'm not mad at that. All right, but who's directing? I heard Snyder is the director of this Justice League
oh
movie.
yeah, yeah, he's got one and two, but he's not writing one. He's only writing number two.
But he didn't
The
write this. He didn't write Batman vs Superman though.
yeah, David
David S.
Gold.
Goyer and some other writer that has some type of prestigious career, some type of. But you can't tell from this piece of shit. But
Yeah.
Zack Snyder didn't. He was the director of this film, and look at the negative impact that he had on Batman vs Superman, only being the director. I do not want him to direct. Right? I don't want him to get drinks for the actors. I don't want him to take tickets for the parking for the studio. He needs to be as far away from Justice League Part 1 as humanly possible. That's how I feel about Zack Snyder.
You got to give him at least credit for The Watchmen and Dawn of the Dead, the remake. That
I'll
was the shit.
I'll give him credit for both of those movies because the Dawn of the Dead movie was great, especially for the zombie genre.
Yeah, it's a suspension of disbelief. Like he either
Yeah.
gets it wrong or right.
And
But yeah,
about the Watchmen, another great movie, another excellent movie that was taking place. But a lot of people say that a lot of what he was doing was he was taking everything straight from the graphic novel, and the graphic novel was portrayed correctly with the Watchmen. He took something from a graphic novel and put it on screen. That's all his job was. You know what the problem with Batman vs Superman is? The overall issue, but before it being even Zack Snyder, I'm gonna throw him a bone. The overall issue is they used the wrong source material to make this film. All the time, I keep hearing from my subscribers, even you mentioned it already in this thing, the traditional Superman. This is not the traditional Superman. This is not the traditional Batman. It's a different take. It's a different spin. I understand that. That's the problem, though. You should have used Action Comics, Adventures of Superman, one of the source materials, something canon. You should have used a Batman DC Detective Comics original storyline for Batman. You should have kept it canon. The Dark Knight Returns graphic novel by Frank Miller is a Frank Miller. It's his ideology on Superman and Batman, both of which are not canon to the comic, to the characters that we know and love, and that is what Zack Snyder chose to make his movie based off of. That was the number one and most epic failure right then and there. The movie was doomed before a single shot got taken because he used the wrong source material, and
yeah,
that's trash.
yeah. Shit. I kind of agree with you, man.
I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. I'm
But
bringing. Sorry, I'm sorry.
no, no. But Zack Snyder, though, it's like, who else would you pick?
Christopher Nolan. He could do no wrong. The man took the Dark Knight trilogy. He took Batman. Let's talk about this just for a second, because I really do want to get back to Batman vs Superman and how garbage that shit was. But I need to let my blood pressure calm down. So let's talk about something a little less trash and
Calm
something
it
better.
down.
All
Yeah.
right. Christopher Nolan took Batman at the time, which was known as a travesty joke. It was a movie that America made fun of, a franchise. We had Batman Returns, which was good. The original Batman, which was good. Then we had Batman and Robin and Batman Forever with Tommy Lee Jones, the Two-Face, and me. I mean, that Two-Face was a trash. Let's keep it real. You had the big buff Bane. You had Uma Thurman. You had George Clooney's version of Batman. You had the Batgirl Bat credit cards. I mean, the shit was silly. You had Bat nipples, Val Kilmer in high heels. Val Kilmer was wearing high heels in the bat suit, bruh. I mean, it was a laughing stock. Christopher Nolan, with the big balls that he has, said, you know what, mate? I'm going to go down there and I'm going to turn that franchise around. And that's exactly what he did. A lot of top directors wouldn't touch the Batman franchise in 2005 with a 12-foot pole. Nolan, he did it, bro. And what did he do? He gave us Batman Begins, an awesome introductory movie. He couldn't hit us with too deep of a story because he didn't want to throw us off. He was coming off of a trash franchise, so he didn't want to give us too much. He introduced Batman Begins, which was a really good introduction and origin story. Very easy to follow, very easy to grasp to it, and introduce Batman for what he was. Then he followed us with that left hit combination, left hook to the jaw, to the brain with the Dark Knight. I don't even need to talk more about that film. It's perfection personified. That movie was absolutely epic. Then he followed with Dark Knight Rises. Now, some people are split on Dark Knight Rises. I'm a big fan of Dark Knight Rises because a lot of stuff happened. Bane as
Oh,
a
I
villain,
hated it, man.
I understand how people hated it. I understand. But Bane as a villain and the overall totality of what the destruction that Bane actually brought to Gotham, something that Heath Ledger's Joker failed to do. Yeah, he managed to put people on a boat or whatever, but his Joker failed in his mission. Bane succeeded. He took over the city. He had everybody on lock. He broke Batman and left him down in that pit. And the manifestation and the symbolicness of him getting out that pit was epic to me. even though the lunge to get out of the pit was mediocre, the symbol behind it meant a lot. Christopher Nolan took that franchise and made it awesome. And I understand why Christopher Nolan said, you know what, I'm not going to do Superman. Because he did not want to work with the Warner Brothers studios because they have their hands and they have the urge of puppeteering and trying to puppet you and call shots and make decisions and try to make decisions and overshadow the director's job. Nolan wanted no part of it, and I don't blame him. But if he did want to do Batman vs. Superman, we will be looking at an epic movie that I don't even know Civil War could have beat.
That's the reason I don't want to like put all the blame on Zack Snyder because there are the puppeteers above him, man. Like maybe that had a factor. Like we all know there's like 30 minutes plus footage that's going to be on the Blu-ray. Like it's going to be a director's cut. Like I know you're against watching it because I've seen your
Keep your 30 minutes, Zach.
yeah.
Keep that episode of TV, bruh. Keep
Uh,
it. There's no way. Let me tell you. Oh, I'm sorry to cut you off, but there's no way Warner Brothers is going to take 30 minutes out of anything Christopher Nolan. You understand me? You go out to Christopher Nolan. He had full control of the Dark Knight series. He made it sure. He had, because he's a man with them big balls, like I told you, swinging. One Johnson going one way, balls going the other way. That's how he's swinging, because he ain't going to let Warner Brothers tell him what to do with his product. Zack Snyder just didn't have the balls and the fortitude to tell Warner Brothers, hey, back up and let me do what I do. Y'all hired me to do this job. Let me do it.
Yeah, it's one yeah, you that's a fucking good point actually. But like the movie was already like 2.5 hours long. So it's like how much can and given that they had to like this is where we agree. This is the agreement section. Um Given the 2.5 hours, they shoehorned in the Justice League like in a
Oh,
fucking
God.
email. In an email.
Oh, my God. Please show respect for my brain.
Yeah, man.
Do they
Uh,
not understand that we have brains? How is it that knew Batman hacked LexCorp's computer system? So you mean to tell me that Lex Luthor, who got introduced in this movie and didn't have a single scene in Man of Steel? Look. The overall thing is this. Look. Understand me. Man of Steel, it's so clear that Man of Steel was intended to be a trilogy, and they called a double. Man of Steel, Batman vs Superman was not supposed to be out. This movie was not supposed to be made. They panicked. They didn't get Christopher Nolan. They wanted to rush this league. That is a travesty in itself. Do not. They tried to compete with Marvel. You cannot compete with a company who has spent the last 8 years on building their MCU. Just because Warner Brothers, who I hate, by the way, because they sit back and they let iconic characters like Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, Flash, Manhunter, Cyborg, go on and on and on, sit on the shelf and collect dust like the toys from small soldiers. I mean,
yeah,
they're
they fucked up.
dust, man. You let them collect dust and you did nothing with them. And that's the problem that DC is in now. And it's their fault.
Yeah, they fucked up on that one. I agree. Like they shoehorned in the Justice League. I mean, the cyborg thing, like maybe, but like Luther's got files on everybody's shit, and it's just like readily accessible. But I think in the movie, like Lex was counting on it. I don't know how many times you've seen it. Lex was counting on Batman getting into his shit. He even when he's introducing Clark
I don't know about that.
to Bruce, like he's like Clark Kent meets Bruce Wayne, whatever.
Yeah.
Like he already knows that who the two of them are.
Right. He was counting on them clashing and arguing and fighting. He wanted that. About him hacking into the system and finding the identities, I'm not so sure.
He baited him. There's one line where he's like he tells Bruce like me and you should pair up. My R&D is up to all sorts of no good. Like he's
Okay.
baiting him. Like I think that's a
Okay.
part that got unnoticed.
Well,
I
if you
definitely
said
do.
that, that's something that I didn't notice, and that's definitely sounds like a bait to me.
Yeah, it's a lot. There's a lot of shit. This movie is like Man of Steel
However,
was even deeper.
that doesn't even make sense to me. Why Lex? Why would you tell Batman that? Hey, I know about the Justice League. Why would you help him find people that's gonna beat you? That doesn't even make sense to me.
Because he knows that he cannot Lex Luthor. Like he talks about how knowledge without power is paradoxical. So he knows he can't beat Batman and Superman. So if you're the art of war, like you have to make them beat each other. That which is exactly what he plans for 3 times in the movie. He has a backup and a backup and a backup. I bet you
Where does the Justice League come into this? Because he's caught. Lex Luthor's done for. Like the Justice League is going to get formed, and they're going to be a team. There's not going to be no more. It's not going to be like a civil war within the Justice League. Once they're formed, they're all going to be together.
I've thought about that. That's the third backup plan for Lex. Like when he goes into that crypt toilet.
Please, please do not tell me that. Please do not tell me that they're gonna really run with this Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor Jr. He's not even the Lex Luthor we want. I mean, are they really gonna keep him as Lex Luthor Jr. and try to make him Lex? He's not even Lex.
Hopefully they'll either axe him, replace him, which I agree with, man.
Get him out of there.
Yeah, he did a terrible, terrible job. Like that's another agreement. But like in that crypt toilet where he like accesses all the knowledge of the universe, whatever, I believe he set up a backup plan to inform Darkseid,
You
which
talking about
is
that deleted scene that came out after the movie?
yeah, that one and the one that was actually in the movie where he's like, "Teach me," where the the
Oh, right,
the
right,
aliens like
right.
there's a
And
hundred thousand worlds. Yeah,
and the deleted scene that showed us, try to give us more knowledge of him with the
the
learning.
mother box.
Right. I could, if that is an indicator of what they're trying to show me to get me to like the movie more, they're doing the reverse effect. That sheet was garbage. It gave me more questions than answers. I could, if that is part of the 30 minutes that they're keeping, I am really not anticipating and hoping to see the rest of the 30 minutes because that shit is garbage.
It goes back to the thing you're saying. It's like the movie was like just tailor made and edited for the fanboys and not the true fans.
How could they wasted Doomsday, bro? You bring out Doomsday, one of
Oh,
no, Superman's most iconic villain. I mean, I don't understand how people. The death of Superman, the comic in 1980 and early 90s, whatever, was a huge mega event. That is the number one grossing comic of all time, still to this day.
92. Yep.
92, yeah.
I
Still
got
to
it
this
signed, dude. I got it signed by Dan Jurgens, a writer and artist. I have it
day.
signed still.
That's some epic shit, man.
Yeah, I was still like 12 at the time, man.
Oh, freak, man, I'm jealous. All right, well, there you go. See, fandom like that. Also, people that actually have Superman number ones have come to see this film and got smacked in the face with a black dildo. You
Yep.
understand what I'm saying? A wet one too.
Yep. Cause
This is you did Doomsday like that. Yeah, Doomsday killed Superman in the comic. It was a buildup. At the time in 1992, like you said, when the death of Superman happened, the writers were having issues to make creative writing for Superman because he's did so much. He does everything. They said, you know, we got to switch it up. Let's kill him. Let's get him out the way. And that was a huge pop culture mega event. That
I
was
was
big.
there, man. I lived it, dude. I bought every issue. I bought the collection. I bought the Roger Stern novel. Like I did everything, man. Like I am a big Superman fan, dude. Like I want to know where you got that jacket and hat and shoes from in that video, man.
I have been collecting Superman. That jacket was probably '04. The hat was probably 2008. I mean, for the last 15, 20 years, I've collected pieces here and there because for a Superman fan, it's hard to get a jacket like that. It comes out for like 1 month, it sells out, and it goes away for years at a time. I got that jacket probably 10 years ago, man. I mean, that's how it is, man. And they bring Doomsday, this iconic character. He was made from the blood of Lex Luthor and Superman's Genesis Chamber. By the way, why does Lex Luthor have Superman's Genesis Chamber? At the end of Man of Steel, Superman said, "Here you go, take the ship." Are you kidding me?
I agree. That's a plot hole, man.
Superman should have said, "Excuse me, I'll take my ship back to the North Pole, please. Excuse me." At the end of Man of Steel, he took down satellites because they were following him. You mean to tell me he's going to give them this ship? Stop it.
Yeah, that's a major plot hole for me, which we agree on.
Oh my
The ship is in the Indian Ocean, guarded by basically nobody.
no one.
But
Oh,
like Lex has like problems like getting it imported and like
you like that? You like that
like
plot? Oh, here comes another one. Here's that left hook. Why is it that Jesse Eisenberg was harassing the senator to give up some information so that he could get access to the Genesis chamber, right? What was the purpose of him getting in there? He wanted access to Zod so he could get his fingerprints. Do you remember?
yeah, yeah. I have a rebuttal, but go ahead.
He accessed, though, here it is. You ain't got a rebuttal for this shit. He got Zod's fingerprints so he could gain access to the machine, to the ship. Who was right next to him when he gained access to the ship? Zod's
Zod.
corpse. He had Zod with him, bro. All you
Why
had
didn't he
to
just put his hand on the
all
scanner?
you had to do was put his hand on the scanner. Why did you need to cut his
Yes.
fingerprints off with a kryptonite blade? They gave you his body. Are you kidding me? This
Yeah,
is just dumb.
that made no sense, but the only like explanation I can come up with, which is bullshit, is that he just wanted to test the fact that the kryptonite could cut, you know?
He had to cut it
Maybe.
10 times
Maybe.
on 10 fingers, though.
Yeah,
Nah.
that's why it's a plot hole. I'll admit that shit, man.
I
And
mean, my brain, it hurts. So this movie will insult your intelligence to the highest order. You don't even have to be a comic book fan to understand that this movie was terribly paced. The action was, it was, it's kind of like, a dude that has a really huge cock and he destroys women, right? But he only lasts 30 seconds. It's
it's
no
common.
point in having that cock if you can't put it to work. You understand what I'm saying? That action it makes no point if it's not tied to characters you love and care about. If it's not tied to story, it was just a meaningless action. Meaningless.
What
Oh,
about what about the fact that I'm sorry to interrupt you, but what about the fact that like everybody, like for ages, for at least the past 20 years, has always wanted to see a Batman versus Superman movie. And it's like no matter what, you can't make the perfect movie. You know, no matter what, like everybody's gonna be like somebody's gonna be let
uh,
down, man. Like this could not be the perfect movie, Batman vs Superman, because everyone assumes they're all gonna become friends at the end, and of course Superman, spoiler, dies at the
ah,
end, which
there
we
you,
didn't see
there,
coming. But he's not dead. But you know, they threw a curveball at the end, sort of. But everyone knew this movie like had to be made. It got made. Everyone's trashing it now, but it's like fuck, man.
Francis,
How
are
do
you
you
trying
make
to
that
kill me,
movie?
Francis? Are you trying to kill me with these questions? Let me
I'm
break it down.
trying.
Let me break it down. Just let me break it down a little bit. You tried to rush a movie to compete with Marvel. Let's just put it out there. They wanted to have an answer to Captain America: Civil
That's
War.
true.
That's all they were doing.
That's true.
So you pushed the source material. You pushed Snyder. You pushed the budget. You pushed everything to the point where you lost what you were doing it for, the fans. They are so involved with trying to set up a Justice League movie and set up future movies that it forgot to be its good movie on its own. You have to make sure making it. Marvel did so well because the Hulk was the Hulk. It was not Iron Man. Iron Man wasn't all in the Hulk creating shenanigans. No, it was end scenes that they did that, which is brilliant, by the way, after credit scenes. But let's not talk about that because DC will never want to copy Marvel, even though if it ain't broke, don't fix it. They won't do it.
No.
Thor was a great movie on its own. Iron Man was a great movie. All of them had their independent movies that they built their own universes, and then when they came together in the Avengers, it made niggas' minds pop. Batman vs Superman introduced two new characters and also tried to create a Justice League mini movie. No, it
Off
doesn't.
an email.
It oh my god, it just doesn't. They salt and peppered Wonder Woman. They just slid her in there. She didn't even need to be in it. I'm glad she was in it because I was glad to see her. But story wise, she needed her own standalone before she even showed up in this film. So did Ben Affleck as Batman. Let's keep it real. This movie was supposed to be Man of Steel 2, and they called an audible. They panicked and they changed it up to make a Justice League movie, and they changed it from Man of Steel 2 to Batman vs Superman, and that's where they effed up at. Because my favorite character is Superman, and I wanted to see a Man of Steel sequel because you can't have a Justice League without Superman. No matter, you can't. And what did
Nope.
they effectively do? They hijacked Man of Steel's decent movie and threw characters at it and put so much fluff in that man's movie. He couldn't even be the character that I wanted. He's fighting a losing battle. I'm not so mad at Henry Cavill because Warner Brothers is the one that screwed up his franchise. How can you make a Justice League movie with a character like Superman who is so bland, non-emotional, robotic, doesn't care about people, whose suit looks garbage, by the way, and then you kill him in Batman vs Superman? You mean to tell me they went through 15 years of comic book material in 2 hours? Are you kidding me? You killed him. How can you have the Justice League now? How are they going to do that? You're going to bring him back, and then he's going to be in Man of Steel 2? You're going to do a Man of Steel 2 after Batman vs Superman? That makes no sense.
Yeah, it's confusing, but I agree, man. Shit, man.
Sum it up. The
It was supposed to be a
DCEU is so
debate.
ruined. It's ruined. The DCEU is ruined, and they have
I don't know.
it is when your leader of the Justice League is dead. Not looking too good. Not looking too good because they have to reboot Superman. That's the only, they have to fire Snyder and reboot Superman. I don't know how they're gonna do it. Maybe let Ben Affleck have some decision making. He's a good director. I'm not sold on him too much as Batfleck or whatever, but maybe I'll give him a chance. Give him a standalone. Maybe we'll see what happens. But the DC cinematic universe needs to be rebooted. Let Wonder Woman stay out. She can come out. Let Batman. But Superman in general needs to be rebooted the right way. We need the classic American hero for truth, justice, and the American way. Red, blue, and yellow. Christopher Reeves like Superman, and I want to hear his theme song. I want to hear it. I don't like this
Yeah,
dark.
yeah, that was missing, man. John Williams, yeah, I don't think he's long for this earth, but yeah, they should have brought his shit back. I agree with that,
You know
man.
what, bro? I could have another podcast with you just on the genius and how much I have so much love for that man, John Williams. He's
Let's
on a
do
whole
it.
other level.
Let's do it. I'm a fucking musician, man.
My God, the Over the Horizon Star Wars. That shit makes me want to cry. And then the harps and the violins come in and start to hit. I'm like, oh my God, that man is Jurassic Park, Indiana Jones. Okay, let's stop talking about. All right, let me stop.
Yes, man. No, but I'm with you, man. Let's fucking do a John Williams
Oh,
podcast. There's so much shit that people don't even know he did. Like,
yes,
it's outrageous, man.
yes.
It's
Movies that
outrageous.
didn't do well in the box office that he did the score for. That's like, oh, I like that music, but I didn't like the movie. But the music that was John.
Yep. Whoever did the Man of Steel, though, that was pretty damn good. They tried to resurrect a little bits and
Hans
pieces
Zimmer.
of.
Hans Zimmer is the guy who's doing the score
Okay,
for a lot of these.
okay, yeah, yeah. But getting back to Batman versus Superman, and we'll get through this fucking quick, man. I'm sorry.
Oh,
Like Luther's one of your points was we went over the fact that he could have just put Zod's hand on the fucking thing.
oh,
He didn't have to slice it up. That's one plot hole. Another one is the ship is just laying in the fucking Indian Ocean. Um, but like for some reason Superman doesn't fucking care. Luther's knowledge of Kryptonian technology. Um,
from nowhere.
yeah, it really is out of nowhere. But that might be in some of the deleted shit. We just don't know. I think this movie will make better sense when we have the fucking deleted scenes,
Yeah,
which
you
is
hope
an
so.
outrage.
Yeah,
It's an
you hope so,
outrage.
huh? What if it's not, huh? I already know it's not. But you have some optimism. Some of your listeners probably have some optimism. They're listening to me right now, like, yeah, when that 30 minutes comes out, we'll show you. No, you're
Well,
not.
I may or may not have seen some of the fucking deleted scenes. The one where Superman figures out who Batman is fucking awesome. I don't know why they cut that out, but it's in there, man. He figures it out, and it's crazy, and Alfred gets props. Um, Another thing is you had problems with Alfred in your review, man.
Yeah, man. I love Jeremy Irons. That's the voice of Scar. He was awesome in Die Hard with a Vengeance. Come on, the guy is well respected, and I love his voice. He's iconic. I love him as an actor. But let's keep it real here.
He's
That
in The
wasn't
Lion
Alfred.
King.
That was not Alfred. What
Yeah,
happened to what
uh,
happened to the comforting Alfred, the butler? First of all, he wasn't even a butler. He was like a Robin. He was a sidekick. He was a techie. He was like Oracle. He was like a Jarvis. I mean, you're building machines for Batman. Who are you? You ain't Alfred. What happened to I know he's a spy. I know he's an ex-spy, but he's a butler. He's an old man. He should be a butler. How are you gonna have an older Ben Affleck with a younger Alfred? This just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. This Batman is supposed to be older than Christian Bale's take. And Michael Caine should have been that age, an old 70, 80-year-old man. How is it that Batman is, what, 50 something years old and Alfred's like 65, not even looking at 70? It doesn't make sense. Alfred is supposed to be at least 20 years or more, 25 years easily older than Bruce Wayne.
I'd have to pull up the specs to see how, like, what the actual age
Yeah,
difference
I
is.
tried to look up Alfred's age, and it's like you can't find it. I tried to look up his actual age, and you can't find. But we do know that
Or
he was a butler for Thomas Wayne, and he was at least in his 40s when Bruce was born.
yeah, and like you can drop it, man. Like you broke it down pretty good. He was just a tech N-word. I ain't gonna drop it, but
He a tech nigga. Let's keep it real. He was a tech nigga. Oh, monster on the 12th floor. There, he even sounded like Jarvis a little bit. On the 12th floor, there's 12 targets. You're gonna. What happened to that knowledge? You're supposed to kick that daddy language. Like, look, Bruce, I don't think you should be going here doing this, acting foolish and shit, man. You got me to think about. You got all the people in your life to think about. What's going on? You need to do this. You need to do that. Remember how Michael Caine talked to Christian Bale in The Dark Knight Rises when he was looking at the video footage of Bane when he was robbing the bank? He said, look at his ferocity. Look at his strength, his speed. You don't have that anymore. You're not Batman anymore. You can't fight him. That's the realness we need from Alfred. Alfred keeps that shit real, and Jimmy Irons could have he left him to go fight Superman. Jeremy Irons, as Alfred said, you're gonna go start a war. You can't win. Well, go ahead and fight him
you're
anyway.
gonna die.
Yeah, go
Yeah,
ahead and fight him anyway. He let him go. Let me tell you, if that was Michael Caine, he would have put all kind of sleeping powder in his crumpets and tea. He would have made sure he was passed out. He wasn't going nowhere.
that's the thing. I think this movie is gonna make more sense when the others come out. I think they planned too far ahead so that it doesn't make any fucking sense right now.
It really,
But as far as Alfred goes, man, like the way they portray him, he actually does like try half-assed to warn Bruce, but he's basically like that this Alfred, like to spell it out, he's just tired of Batman's shit. Like they've gone back and forth
is
over
that
this
what you
shit
get?
probably 1,000 times.
It didn't show us that though. At least show us a 2 minute scene of flashbacks where it shows him looking at Batman leave out the Batcave in pain, him coming back scarred. Show a couple of scenes of Alfred fixing the wounds of Ben Affleck. Show us something like, and then give us that scene and give us all that, and we will understand. They failed to do this type of stuff. It's the little minuscule things that people brush off that makes the biggest of differences.
That's where I have to. Ah, shit.
The deleted scenes. You do this?
Yeah, yeah,
Hey, look, man,
man.
you really hyping these deleted scenes up. Let me tell you right now, you're gonna really make me want to go get this 30 minutes, man. Because I really don't want.
I'll buy it for you, man. I'll buy it
Man,
for you.
if you saying these 30 scenes, if these 30 minutes of deleted scenes is that epic, filling up all these holes, nah, man, I can't believe that. Because what we got, without the deleted scenes and the story, you gave us a crap Doomsday, underdeveloped Batman, a bad Superman with no depth. You blew up the entire Senate building, bruh.
Mm-hmm.
Superman was in the room. What happened to I could hear a tick tick tick? Oh, I can see something's going on. I can hear heart rates. There's no way in the and then when the building
Got
blew
an
up,
explanation, but go ahead.
when okay, explain all right, okay, I would love to hear that. But when the building blew up, he stood there like he didn't care.
All right. Well, you brought up that Henry Cavill stinks and Superman stinks because he doesn't care about humans, but he actually does. He only cares about the ones he knows, though. Lois, his dad, and his mother. Every time, even in the Man of Steel, he was like, you think you can threaten my mother," as he's
Right,
punching Zod, like
right.
he's punching the fuck out of him. And
Yeah.
then in like the second, well, this Batman versus Superman, the only time he shows that he cares about a human being is when it comes to Lois and when it comes to Lex threatening his mother. So he does care about people, but he doesn't care about people he doesn't know, which I agree with you on, which is like not Superman.
Thank
He
you.
even says, like in the bathtub scene where they don't show Lois's fucking tits.
I would love to have seen them cookie
I
brown
know.
nipples. What's going on, man? Come on now, them titties looking all right. You can't even you want to be dark and rated R, but you can't show a little nip slip? Come on.
Someone claims I haven't seen the freeze frame, but someone claims that you actually do.
Nah,
Like,
man. You know what? I tried. I saw it probably 10 times. I was all over YouTube, man. I was all on the websites like a perv, man. I tried. Nah, ain't there.
oh, okay, someone claimed I couldn't find it either, man.
Watch the fighter. You get a lot of nipples in the fighter.
Yeah, maybe in the rated R version we'll get a little bit of that, man.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, The Fighter was a good movie though. God damn. I'm into UFC and MMA. Like, just side note, we're already running long, dude. I'm so sorry, dude.
It's cool, man. We could go into Civil War. Let's do another 5 minutes on this little Batman vs Superman, and then we could touch on Civil War, a movie done right. Let's
Yeah,
end it on a good note.
yeah,
But
no problem. Go ahead.
about the fighter, man, that movie was absolutely raw. It felt so raw and realistic, and that was a great, well acted movie. Your man Christian Bale really nailed it. He played a dope head crack fiend like no other nigga I could have freaking claimed to do. He did his job. I loved the mother. I loved how he every time she went to the crack house, he would jump out the window on the cans. I mean, that shit was good, man. What a good freaking movie, man.
Yeah. Are you into UFC, MMA at all?
I watched the fights, the when the UFC fights happen,
The
with
big
the
ones.
the actor, yeah, yeah, John Jones. I was watching Silva when he was the man till that leg snapped. I was
Oof.
and then your boy, I saw Conor McGregor's last two fights. Uh,
Oh, he ain't my boy.
yeah, that boy. I don't look, man.
Nick,
He won that. He has connection. He was serving him up a little bit. Round two, he was. I don't know what it was. Your boy came. Other dude came back and was really giving it to him, and I could tell that Connor was tired in round two. He was
Nate
just
Diaz, man. The 209,
Hey,
man.
yeah, I
You
love
should
that
be a
soft
fan.
spoken dude. He was soft spoken. I was watching all the promotions on YouTube, the conferences where he was verbally wrecking Diaz. I mean, talking major trash, bro. And he got
Yep.
served, bro. Like, I see
Yep.
why you want to retire.
Yep. Diaz was just like anything he said, anything Conor McGregor said, Nate Diaz was just like, fuck
We'll
you.
see. We'll see.
Yeah, fuck you.
We'll see.
And then his post-fight speech, he's like, I'm not surprised, motherfuckers. That's the
That's
first
what.
words
That's
out of his
right.
mouth.
And then he said after Conor McGregor tried to go off topic. Yeah, I was struggling. I didn't condition my body.
Yeah.
I need to get. And then Nate Diaz took that mic. Call it conditioning. Call it whatever you want. It didn't matter. I was gonna serve him up anyway because that's the end result. Check me out. He hits hard. He's a hard hitting little dude, but I take that all day long. That's the glory of me. F that. And I
Yeah.
love that, man. Underdog came back and served him up. Even though I like Conor McGregor though, but I like to see the underdog come up and win.
Yeah, man. You should seriously get into the UFC scene, man.
I
Um,
I I have a high level of hate for Dana White. That's probably my number one reason. He reminds me of Vince McMahon.
yeah, they have the same
Kiboshin
similarity.
fights, making you do things you don't want, holding fights back. He's a dictator, man. I could get into that a little bit too, but freak that. Batman, Batman versus Superman. Let's get back on this real quick.
Yeah,
Uh,
at the same time, he's running a private business, so,
yeah,
it's America. You know how that goes. But yeah, I got my own problems, but that's another podcast. Plot holes, and then where we disagree, and then we'll end it, dude. Sorry. Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah,
I'm horrible at fucking interviews. But the plot holes, we already went through most of them. But one that you brought up in one of your videos was how did Luther know, like the night it would go down between Batman and Superman? Um, you just mentioned it's just like a one sentence, like one off. But he actually like I believe he sets it up so that Batman steals the kryptonite and then you see him right before the fight goes down. When the bat signal goes up,
yeah.
Lex Luthor's already on the fucking roof.
He's on the roof.
He
Yeah.
makes a phone call and he says the night is here. And then like that's it. And
I
then
mean, God, this. He's not that epic.
he's a genius though.
He's not Lex Luthor though. He's Junior. Where's your daddy at? That's who's the
Oh,
genius.
that's another thing. That's another thing. I believe that the agenda behind it is either Superman or Batman inadvertently or maybe on purpose killed his father. I think that hasn't been revealed yet. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying this shit goes deep like fucking R. Kelly trapped in the closet, man. Like you just open up another door, man.
Yeah,
I
that's some
think
deep
I think they
shit,
killed
man.
his father.
I don't. All right, look, man. This is how I feel about that. I could care less if Batman is dead and then his son Damian says, "Hey, you killed him. Hey, I'm here to stop you guys." Think if I'm a henchman, I'm like, "Nigga, go home. You ain't Batman." If Superman has a human son and says, "Hey guys, I'm here to take up the mantle my dad left off," nigga, get out of here. You ain't Superman. You ain't Lex Luthor, man. You're his son. You're a weenie, feeble, wig wearing, trash, skinny face, tall face, garbage, the social network, creepy crawly, fake Heath Ledger, Joker wannabe, douchebag, prick, idiot. That's what you are. No one liked little baby Lex Jr.'s. Only thing we care about is your daddy, man. You saying all that stuff about Martha this, Martha that. I'm gonna show you a note, and now you're gonna get on your knees so I can put my hand over your head. No one care about that, bro. Where your daddy at? Your
Yep.
daddy's the one.
Another thing, like maybe Superman and Batman killed his father or whatever, but maybe his father is still alive.
I hope so.
Yeah, because they need to recast that shit.
That's a
And
travesty in itself. If you really intend on keeping Jesse Eisenberg and making him the Lex Luthor to spin off the Justice League with, that we have to keep seeing him over and over in different movies. Are they planning on doing that to my soul? Because I'm not even gonna watch that shit. I hope not. There better be a Lex daddy somewhere alive in the Bahamas chilling, letting his son run things. He gonna come back like, son, I left you to run things and look what you did. Let me show
yep,
you how it's done. Give us
yep,
that.
yep.
Give
Fucking
us that.
chilling
What the
on
heck
the.
is up with Superman saving Lois Lane all the time, but don't know where his mama's at? What's that about?
Oh, that's another thing. You brought up henchmen, and
Oh God, oh
in
God,
your rant review,
oh,
the
oh God,
Batman dropping the
the smoke
traditional,
pellet. Oh God,
yeah, the
how is it that Batman threw a regular henchman smoke pellet, a regular I want to get away, boom, smoke pellet. I'm Batman. I'm gone. How did you use that? How did that blind Superman? Superman couldn't see through a regular smoke pellet, and Batman's in a 10,000 pound Iron Man suit. You mean to tell me you didn't hear him click clacking away, stomping on the ground, trying to get away from you? You're Superman. You got super hearing. You should have heard him. You have X-ray, microscopic, super far away, extra close, and through shit. And you mean to tell me that this smoke pellet blinded you?
okay. I have two rebuttals, but you beat me on the sound thing. Uh, the smoke pellet, the traditional henchman smoke pellet that
There's no
Batman
way
threw
that
down.
pellet was lead.
Oh, and I did my chemistry and physics research. It could have been smoke in liquid or gas form.
There's
I
no way
did
it
the
was lead
research.
because there was no
It could have
lead.
been lead. It could
There
have
was
been
no
lead,
lead.
man.
Okay, I would accept that, but there was no lead mentioned in this universe.
I
There was
know.
no lead mentioned in Man of Steel. Only time lead was mentioned in the movie was I'll give you Superman 2, where Superman said, I can't see through lead. If they would have given us a little scene like that, simple, 2 seconds, and then I would have bought the whole thing. But it was no way. They didn't mention lead. I'm not going to give them that cop out. There was no lead. I'm not going to say it was lead. Because no one in the universe had knowledge. As far as we know, This Superman is not susceptible to lead.
Yeah, that's where you win. Like I'm glad you thought that through.
Yes.
But
I believe I-
it is possible because they haven't shown, and that's a problem with the movie. They haven't shown Superman's fucking capabilities. Like
Not yet. We got heat vision maybe twice. Where's his ice breath? Where is his concentrated breath? Where is his? They're not showing any of his visions. That's clear.
yep.
Where are the powers that we want to see? He hasn't spun through the ground. He ain't spun in the air, made a tornado. He could do epic shit, man. And
Yep.
another thing, how is it that Lex Luthor has the ability? Well, let me just call out this clear piece of bullshit that's gonna blow your mind because I know you knew about it, but you're not saying it because you ain't thinking about it right now. Let me remind you of it. In Man of Steel, where was Gotham? I know it wasn't across the
Nowhere.
river. I know it wasn't across the river. I know that. But I do know in Batman vs. Superman, that shit was across the street. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, that's the suspension of disbelief part.
That
Like
is why it shows that Man of Steel was
it never planned out in
never
advance.
planned.
Yeah.
They never planned for Batman vs. Superman to exist, brother. All of the facts are there. It was supposed to be Man of Steel 2, not Batman vs. Superman.
Yep. But that's like there's so many unknowns in this movie that did not get addressed. So that's why I agree. I actually fuck. I think you won me over,
You have
man.
common sense, man.
I think you
Of
won
course,
me over,
if
man.
you have common
This
sense,
movie
you
stinks.
see the light.
This movie sucks.
Trash, garbage sauce, heinous movie, man.
They
I
could
mean,
have they could have gotten a better writer with
Martha was bad. His mother was saying negative shit. You don't owe these people anything. Who are you? You're supposed to tell him he's supposed to care about people. What is
contradicting the father in Man of Steel.
everything the father tried to implement? He said, son, you're supposed to care about people. Be peaceful. He said, Dad, I wanted to punch him so bad. I know you did, son, but you got to control yourself. You got to learn to be a beacon for people. He just didn't want him to reveal himself. Don't show the world who you are because they'll just. He taught his son to care for others. And Martha, he's dead. Jonathan in the dirt, dead. And you over there contradicting everything he taught his son. Beach, what's wrong with you?
Yep, that's actually I had it written. I'm not gonna pretend like I don't have notes, man. I studied physics and fucking chemistry for this shit. The speech with his dad, he says, "Part of me even wanted you to hit that kid."
Yes.
But the point is, you have to decide what kind of man you grow up to be. Good
Yes.
character or bad. You're
Yes.
going to change the world.
Yes.
Which I kind of will accept as a setup for the Justice League Superman's evil storyline.
Okay.
All right, you know, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. Like even if it was by accident, it still kind of sets it up that Superman's evil in the Justice League movie, which as I mentioned is written by this guy, just Terry, but they give full writing credit to Kane, Bill Finger, Bob Kane, Bill Finger, and Jerry Siegel, I guess.
Jerry
The
Siegel and Bob Kane. Of course, you're going to say Joe Schuster because
No, they leave him out, actually. They leave out Schuster, which is
why would they?
weird.
Why would they do that? He's the creator of Superman. Why would you have Jerry Siegel? Okay, well I understand. Okay,
He
so
was only the artist.
okay, yeah, right. Jerry Siegel is the writer of the story, and Joe Schuster's the artist. But if you're
Why
gonna,
would you leave him out? Yeah.
yeah, if you're gonna use the Superman S and the red, blue, and yellow, I mean, why would
Yep.
you not?
Yeah,
Whatever.
pay the man credit. It's obvious.
That's a travesty. That's a
The
travesty. That's very disappointing to hear, man.
the answer is always money. But yeah, but they give at least Bob Kane and Bill Finger credit for the Batman shit. I bet they co-wrote that or whatever. But it's some guy Terry, the guy that wrote, mm, you know,
Oh my,
this travesty of a movie, which I
oh
agree
my God.
with. Yeah, man. Yeah, we'll just wrap it up here on. Let's see here. Oh yeah. Just okay.
The,
So you
everything, okay, everything that Batman vs Superman, all the fans were saying after it was released, especially people on my channel, Jody's Corner One, Jody's Corner One. If you guys want to check me out on YouTube, they were saying Oh man, why don't you get? It's a different Superman, man. It's a different take. Civil War's not gonna be any better. You gotta understand. Civil War don't stand a chance, man. Are you serious now? After that iconic movie that we've seen with Civil War, a 2.5 hour movie, they had like 15 different superheroes in it, and they paced it better than Batman vs Superman with only 3 superheroes. That in what you saw in Civil War is how you do a team superhero movie. They do it right because Disney cares about their characters and they care about what the fans want. Warner Brothers, they want to see a paycheck. That's all they care about, bruh. The number one solution for this, for me, is for Warner Brothers to relinquish all the rights to all the DC properties to Disney and let them do right with the characters. Let me give you one hypothetical.
Yeah.
If Disney owned Superman, do you think we would have this dark piece of bullshit, or would we have the Superman that we want?
Oh hell no. He'd be saving everybody, even little kids, cats falling from trees.
Superman! Da, da, da. It'll
Yeah.
have the theme music, everything. He'll have the curl, the S, the suit will be on point. His character development will be strong. I would want to cry watching him on screen. They would do the man justice.
Yep. Zod would be locked up in that Civil War like prison or whatever the fuck it
Right.
was.
Phantom Zone. Dang right.
Yeah. Just one more thing about Batman versus Superman before we just lightly just touch on Civil War. Um, Everybody brings up the plot holes. One of them was the kryptonite gas, which you brought up.
Oh my god.
Okay, like I have to go with that it was encased in a lead pellet, dude. Because everyone also brings up why didn't Batman just develop kryptonite bullets? But the problem with bullets is like even if they're encased in lead, they still got to pop off and Superman's, the quote, faster than a speeding bullet. And he'll see that green shit coming at him, and he'll fucking move out of the way.
He could move out the way. Not this Superman. He took a grenade to the chest while flying at super speed. Batman was fumbling the second kryptonite smoke pellet. He was fumbling it to hurry up and shoot it, and he shot it at him while he was flying in the air, dead mass on his chest, and so happened that the cloud of smoke followed him. Now you say physics and all this, but if Superman is coming west and you're shooting a grenade pellet east in his direction, and you get hit with it and you continue to go west, the smoke should stay going east. That shit followed him west the other way. The smoke did a reverse and followed him into the wall and shit where he coughed up and inhaled it for the second time. What the heck is he doing inhaling kryptonite gas in the first place? Doesn't people know that that is instant death?
Well, maybe you had me
Okay,
be-
see,
you
okay,
had you
it
you
could
had
be
me beat there, man.
10%. It could be 10% kryptonite gas and it's death. It's in his blood, man.
You got me beat there, man. But like maybe the contrail of his direction, drag the smoke or whatever, is my only pathetic argument.
Oh,
And inhaling the gas, like Superman does obviously have a super immune system, so he took a bad toke, if you know what I'm saying.
bad told, yeah, he told on that shit real hard. Nigga was all left up. What happens
Yeah,
when you see green kryptonite that hurts you? You don't take a deep breath in
he
because
inhaled it all, man.
he does not need to breathe. He does not need to breathe like a human. He could have just fought him the whole time without taking one breath. Superman could take in air and condense it and roll off days with it.
But even though they didn't explain it, which I disagree with, I think he recovered quickly because like
Oh my God.
he has super healing, like based
Oh,
on
no.
no, he has to have just like the human body has energy reserves, he has to have solar reserve cells in his body, dude. I know it sounds outrageous, it should have been addressed. It wasn't. It's a problem with this movie. A lot of things just weren't fucking addressed,
Energy
man.
reserves, solar reserves aside, kryptonite will take everything away from him that he is. It will kill that man. It will kill him off him being in close proximity to it. He don't even have to touch the sheet, bro. And you mean to tell me that Superman, who inhaled kryptonite gas twice, died from taking kryptonite into his stomach? He died from Doomsday because Doomsday stuck a kryptonite through him. That
through
killed
his
him.
heart. Yep.
That killed him. Excuse me, but I'd rather take a knife to the gut than drink and inhale blades that will rip my insides out from outside in. I mean, that makes no sense to me. A jab killed him, but he inhaled the poison, and that doesn't kill him twice.
Only explanation I can come up with, which wasn't addressed, is he has like reserves and like a super immune system.
Where were the reserves when he went in the water to go get that spear and he came up floating dead?
Well, the kryptonite blade was spear, sorry, was in there. So
And
like maybe it kind of
next
canceled
to
it
it,
out a little bit.
and
I
him
don't
being next to
know.
it hurt his swimming ability and made him hover dead to where Lois had to save him, right? But then he got right out of the water and then picked the spear up and flew it to Doomsday. Didn't that shit just hurt you in the water?
Yeah, and why didn't he give the spear to like Wonder Woman to just jab into Doomsday?
Yes.
But yeah, it's another plot hole, man. Like this movie, like you convinced me, man. You are victorious.
Thank
Definitely.
you. Deleted scenes
This,
aside, this type of stuff is bad.
yeah.
You can't do that type of stuff. Deleted scenes are not. Kryptonite gas, holy kryptonite, doing weird shit, Doomsday being not even looking like Doomsday. I mean, him being bored from Lex. That stuff that's terrible, man.
I know, man. I know.
Trashing this weekend, this movie, dog, man. I'm doing it for your podcast and for the fans. I want to spread the word.
I
This,
appreciate it.
you're making me relive a nightmare right now, man. I'm gonna have
I
nightmares
know.
tonight, man.
I know, man. I know. I
Let's,
know.
let's talk about some Civil War or something, man. A little bit of that, man, real
All
quick.
right,
How
all
about
right,
I know?
cool. Obviously, we had a pre-talk where there's an alternate ending to Civil War,
Right,
but given the movie as is,
right.
I thought it was not good because I've seen the better version.
Killing me, you motherfucker.
I
I
know,
can't
man.
believe, are you doing this on purpose?
No, no, man. But like, okay, like Civil War. Besides the airport fight.
Oh, Ramses, man. The airport fight was better than all of Batman versus Superman, period.
Oh, I
So just
agree.
giving me the
I agree.
airport fight, it's
I
already a
agree.
good movie.
I agree. I would have paid money just to see those fucking
Me too.
just those 17 minutes or whatever the hell it
Thanks,
was.
great.
And the Spider-Man where he meets like Tony Stark in his apartment,
That was
like
epic.
that was awesome. Like, but aside from that,
You really want
what
this?
what else was good?
You really want
What
that?
Yeah, man, what else can you name from that movie that was any good besides those two scenes?
The scene where Captain America was fighting Crossbones. The scene where Scarlett Johansson went off and showed us some epic fight scenes with the stuntman that felt like they were really getting punched. How about the scene where Captain America was tracked down Bucky to his apartment and then Hydra, or wherever the government was, came to attack them and Bucky and Cap went ham on them soldiers. I mean, I think necks actually broke. They said don't kill people, but I think niggas died. That the some of the crunchiness I saw when that nigga Black Panther came and him and Bucky had that fight, and Iron Man got in on that fight. That whole fight sequence was dope. When Black Panther did that, it's like that's Baruch Street Fighter kick, and he was in the air and did two kicks in the air on Captain America's shield. That shit was epic. His suit looked dope. The character development was great. The story was paced well. It was 2.5 hours, but it didn't feel like 2.5 hours. Tony Stark had a motive. Captain America had a motive. It made sense for them to clash. The little dialogue scenes made a lot. It built up for that great environment. It was funny. It was witty. The directing was solid. It was excellent. The script was well written. It was easy to pay attention to. It was easy to love. We fell in love with new characters. Batman vs. Superman introduced two characters. Captain America Civil War introduced two characters. Batman and Wonder Woman. And then Civil War introduced Black Panther and Spider-Man. Are you going to compare those two? They introduced two characters the right way. We already are fans of both of these characters. I did not care for Black Panther before this movie. Now I am a fan of this man. They introduce characters. They bring in the story and they put it all at one. They bring an iconic twist at the end. That depth with Iron Man and the death of his mother and father at the hands of Bucky,
That
who
was
was being
cool.
hidden at the same time by Captain America. that tied it all to the first Avenger. This movie tied in Iron Man 1, 2, the first Avenger, Captain America 1, 2, Winter Soldier. They even referenced the Hulk and Thor, and I'm pretty sure they're on another planet at that time. They just tied everything together, put a bow on that shit and said, here, nigga, love this. This is what we do. Disney pulled their cock out and said, look what we can do, DC, Warner Brothers. That movie was absolutely epic in so many different levels. It didn't even have to be that much action. It was just a good movie. You don't even have to be a comic book fan. It's a good movie.
You got you fucking got me again, man. I'm gonna have to rewatch that shit. It
That shit was
just
epic.
it the HD version just dropped on home video, if you know what I'm saying. I'm gonna watch that tonight. Um,
Uh,
fucking yeah, download that shit.
yeah.
Yeah, it just dropped today. But but yeah, like all I noticed was the airport fight and the Tony Stark Spider-Man scene.
Oh my
But you're
gosh.
bringing up the
You made
shit.
me love Bucky, a person who was terrible and mediocre in the Winter Soldier. I loved him. I loved Captain America. They showed depths to characters who had their own standalone movies 3 times over. Iron Man had more depth in Captain America Civil War than he had in his previous first 3 Iron Man movies. The acting was great.
He
I
put on the
felt
suit again.
I felt legitimately bad for Iron Man Tony Stark.
Yeah, definitely. And but like he wins. Spoiler. Everybody's locked up in that prison. But of course,
Yeah,
I hate that they didn't. This is all spoilers, people. Not even a 3, 2, 1. You should already know by now.
oh yeah, spoiler
Like,
alert.
yeah, like they didn't even kind of hint at Th Thanos. Like,
Nope.
what the fuck was up with that? Like,
I'm surprised. I'm surprised they didn't do that, man. But all right, it's clear to me that Thanos is more of like a Guardians of the Galaxy type of swag because he's
yeah,
all up in that movie. And I know Guardians 2 is coming out, and it makes sense that it's Guardians of the Galaxy because they're in the galaxy. Thanos is the ruler of in the galaxy. He's throughout all the other worlds. So Avengers and Captain America and Iron Man, they're really Earth based. So Thanos isn't really tripping off what's going on in the Earth. He's more concerned with what's going on in the whole entire galaxy. And Guardians of the Galaxy are the people that should show it. I'm pretty sure we'll see Thanos in Guardians of the Galaxy too.
well, he'll definitely be the pivotal like villain
Infinity War.
in Civil War too. Like, yeah, the
Infinity War. Yeah,
Infinity War.
yeah, but we're gonna get Guardians of the Galaxy 2 before then. So they're gonna set up a lot of stuff in between now
Oh,
and Infinity War. We're gonna have already Thanos' plan and what he's gonna do. And by the time Infinity War comes around, Part One, I'm pretty sure Thanos is gonna be in it.
I couldn't watch Guardians, man. Like
That shit
the
was trash.
CGI, like
Hey man, like, a lot of people love that shit, man. That shit is garbage to me, man. I give it
yeah,
I give it a C minus maybe. I did not like that film. I do not like that raccoon, the tree, and the pink beach, and
that,
big dumb
yep.
Batista who can't even make it in the WWE.
Yep.
Oh, man.
15 minutes in, I stopped watching, dude.
Yeah, I ain't mad at you. That she was nah.
Yeah, it was just like, what the fuck am I watching? I don't know anything about these people. What the fuck? Like, but if Thanos is in it, man, I'll give it a rewatch, I guess. But it's
Oh
weird.
yeah, yeah.
It's weird that they didn't fucking tie that into fucking Civil War. And Bucky's name stinks. I'm glad they're trying to go with Barnes. Like they're trying
Okay.
to switch it up. Like
Yeah,
that
that's
was
true.
cool.
Bucky does sound real gay, real whack.
Yeah, but I
Bucky,
mean,
shoot.
no, go ahead, man.
Yeah, Bucky and that it just doesn't come off the tongue right. It doesn't sound right.
It's a terrible like 40s, 50s like just gimmick name that they came up with. It was a
Can
one-off.
I ask you a question and all the listeners?
Go for it.
How is
Anything goes.
Do you know how Peggy? You know Peggy in Civil War. It's Captain America's girlfriend from the first Avenger.
Right.
How is it that we ended up caring more about Peggy, who wasn't even in one scene of Civil War, than we did Lois Lane?
Lois Lane. I think it's because like Captain America is like not only American but human, and like you understand what it is to like lose somebody and then try to find them again. You know
What's
what?
making you say that though? Is it because you've seen scenes with him in agony when he was around her? Because they showed scenes of them bonding? Because they showed flashbacks of him missing her, wanting her, longing for her because it showed him go to the funeral in sadness.
No, this is like just like straight up from the heart. Like, I've been there, man. Like they say you can't ever go back home,
Well,
you know?
you saw it. You saw that vision without all
But
the
yeah, there was
to
nothing
it.
written into it that would like, but you raise a good question, why? I think it's because it's just more like you can understand him better than you can understand a fucking alien from the planet Krypton. Like with some journalist that figures shit out and
Yeah.
is randomly inserted into scenes that she should not even have a part in. Like
Well,
she,
to give Disney credit, they gave us a Captain America that we feel this way for. They
yeah,
could have ruined Captain America too. We could be worse than Superman as we know it, but they made him right. That's why we're talking so positively about him.
yep. Ending speed round questions, man. Thank you so much. This went on. I tried to tell you, I go on long, man.
It's all
I'm
good,
bad
man.
at this, dude. I'm bad at this, but I hope you do
You're good,
future
man.
podcasts, dude. I'll plug your channel every chance I get. Jody's Corner on YouTube, at Jody's Corner 1 on Twitter.
Yeah.
Um, Watch his reviews, his movie reviews. You made a new playlist today, which I'm going through currently. Um, yeah, definitely. This dude is fucking hilarious. You'll laugh your ass off. And like
I'm bringing the
he
real,
changed my
man.
mind. He changed my
Hey,
mind.
it's the real. You're susceptible to the real. You have common sense, bro. And on my channel, I'm speaking the real. It's gonna be honest, no fake shit, even if it's against the grain. When I made the Batman vs Superman rant, everybody was praising that film. I really want you guys to know that there was no negative reviews, no rants on YouTube when I made my rant. I must have been like the first one to say freak this movie and go out and shoot on it. And I got a lot of hate initially, but I could care less.
Yeah, me too. Like, I don't even care how many people watch this. I'm doing this just for me because, like, I thought it was hilarious. Almost every video you put out is hilarious. I do have to ask about the one you did with the guy that hates the fish, the Aquaman,
Yeah,
your
yeah,
friend.
with the
What
clothes.
what's up with the fish, man?
I don't know why he hates the fish so bad. He believes that they're hyping him up, and he doesn't have any body of work. He doesn't understand Aquaman like I do. He just hate he just thinks he's a pathetic trash character. To sum it all up, he hates his power set. He doesn't like people that can talk to. He doesn't like him. I don't know what he doesn't like. He just doesn't like him.
Yep. And uh, Deadpool, of course, was a better movie than I think
Oh,
even Civil War
oh
and
really?
Batman versus Superman, dude.
Oh no, I can't do that. I can't say that.
Uh, all right, at least it's on par with Civil War.
Yeah. Okay.
And the Daredevil season 2 with the Punisher stealing the whole fucking thing.
Epic shit, man.
That
Epic
was
shit,
awesome,
bro.
man. I'm
I'm
actually, yeah,
Did you see my season two review? I put that up on the channel.
of course I saw it.
Bruh, man. I'm a Kingpin fan. That's the reason why I finished. That's why I was able, because Daredevil season one was slow. It gave me a lot of good dialogue and all, but it was like, come on, show me some action. Be Daredevil already. But I understand that they needed a bit. But Kingpin is what had me like, okay, I could get through this episode. I could get through this episode, and it got me through the season. And he's the reason why I came to see season two, because I was just for sure he was gonna be in it. But I was disappointed when he wasn't in the
They
first.
saved him. Yep.
Yeah, they did. But they gave me some man that goes by the name of Frank Castle. And this man
John Bernthal.
is really, really good. Shane from The Walking Dead. Yes, John Bernthal. He was in that movie. He is a really good actor, and he brings something to Daredevil that was missing. An anti-hero to root for.
He stole the fucking show. Like
He,
enough to where he's getting his own Netflix show.
yeah.
I actually have a compilation like video that I made for people that suffer from PTSD, and I just used fucking Daredevil season 2 shit. They'll take it down as soon as possible, but it's all the Punisher. Um, it's crazy as hell, man. They made the key to that fucking season was like you didn't even give a fuck about Daredevil. The key was making Frank Castle a sympathetic enemy, and You mentioned one thing. Sorry, last question. Man,
Please tell me
sorry.
that John Bernthal is going to be in this new season of his own show.
He will.
Okay,
Yes,
good.
definitely. And by the way, if anybody didn't catch it, Ben Affleck is executive producer as of now on Justice League One.
Oh,
So hopefully he does some shit, man.
that's
Hopefully he
that's
put
epic and tragic at the same time.
hopefully he's like Zach, I got this idea, but we'll see, man. I don't know.
Executive producer, that's like a shot caller. It
Yeah.
doesn't get no higher than that.
Yeah, he's the yes or no man.
Yes.
He's the goddamn Donald Trump
Yeah.
before, before the NSA and CIA.
So
But
basically, this movie's gonna ride on him then.
yep. But you mentioned in one of your videos that the Daredevil thing. Do you think that the Kingpin recognized that Matt Murdock
Yes.
was the Daredevil off of the headbutt?
Yes.
You
That's
do?
why he's gonna look into him. He said, "Show me that." He had his guy look into Matt Murdock. He felt that headbutt he hit him with. He was like, I felt this pain. He hit me in a certain area. Ooh, who is
But
this?
but he
Feels familiar."
but he also threatened his woman. So that's where like I'm not sure. Maybe he's looking into him because he threatened his woman.
It's like when a woman has that intuition that her man is cheating. She
He
doesn't
is.
she doesn't know that he's cheating, but she knows that he's cheating.
Yep. It's the cops, man. They have all the evidence, but they want the fucking confession.
Exactly.
You know?
He
I
doesn't know that Murdoch is Daredevil, but he knows Matt Murdock is Daredevil.
I think we hit it, man. All the Kingpin wants is a fucking confession, dude. I
Yeah,
think that's it.
yeah.
And my best Punisher quote will end with this. When he's on trial, he says, well, to Daredevil, he says, "You never think that if whether there's not gonna be a tomorrow," when he's talking about the death of his fucking family, but at the trial, he says, "quote I'm not crazy." When he freaks out, he says, "I'm not crazy. I know who I am, and I do not need your help. I am smack dab in the middle of my goddamn mind." And they take him out random and raving, man. That scene was so powerful. It's in the video. I'll send you a link, dude. Like, YouTube's gonna tear it to shit, even though I like put up a little like water log, like this is not official, fan made.
You, and
Donate to wounded warriors. Like they'll
you
take it down, man.
and you know why he said that? He said that in response to the Kingpin offer.
Yep,
So Kingpin is tied to that, man. So hey, we
yep.
both winning.
Yep, definitely, man. Batman versus Superman stunk. I agree with you. They did not address many points. Civil War, I think, was a great movie on par with Deadpool, but for reasons we cannot go into,
Yeah,
um, it definitely could have ended better.
yeah. From what you told me, yeah, heck yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't tell you anything. But X-Men Age of Apocalypse, I guess is the next comic book movie, or is Rogue One coming up next?
Apocalypse is coming out this month.
Okay.
Later,
All right.
I think the 26th or May, something like that.
And Doctor Strange is just going to be Inception. Jody's Corner 1 on Twitter and Jody's Corner on YouTube. Look it up. Look up whatever video, whether it's movie reviews, TV reviews, um, even the Yu-Gi-Oh card game, which like even now I'm gonna start looking into,
Guilty
man.
pleasure, my man. That's my guilty pleasure. Loved it since a child, and I never gave it up.
I need to get back into card games, man. But yeah, we'll end it right here, man. Uh, Nothing but respect, dude.
All love, brother.
Definitely, man.
Thanks for having me here, man.
Yeah, no problem, man. We'll do it again as long as you're willing. Thank you so much. Jody's Corner, and that's with a Y, people. Jody with a Y. Don't fuck that up.
Don't mess that shit up, y'all.
Yep. And we'll end with that. That is the word on the street. I'll tweet at you, man.
Deuces.